Hello everyone, this is part 24 of What If Naruto Was Trained by Anko, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. The next morning Naruto woke up with mixed feelings. On the one hand he felt very excited to leave on this trip training with a legendary Sannin while looking for another Sannin, but on the other hand he had to leave the village just when he had finally earned some recognition. Add the fact that there still was a lot of work to be done to repair the damage in the village. Naruto felt like he was almost betraying the village by leaving. When he voiced his thoughts to Anko, she smiled and said that he wasn't doing anything of the sort. On the contrary, he was ensuring the welfare of the village by finding Tsunade. Naruto couldn't really deny the fact that he was getting the next Hokage back to the village, so he accepted the fact that he would be leaving the village for some time. After eating breakfast, Naruto got ready for departure, which would be in an hour. He grabbed his sword, his holster and pouch and put them on. He then grabbed the belt he had made before the Chunin exams and sealed some extra stuff like his research on the Hiraishin no Jutsu and some reading material. Though he wasn't sure if he would have time for that, seeing he most probably would already be learning stuff van Jiraiya. After putting his Chunin vest on, he exited the bedroom and went to get Anko so they could leave together. Anko watched with pride at Naruto as he wore the vest he earned. She was so proud of him and his accomplishments, and even she had gotten some friendly smiles and nods from the townspeople. Being the one who taught Naruto had earned her lots of respect, especially amongst the Junin senseis. The best was when she saw some of Naruto's old academy teachers' faces when they heard that he had saved the Hokage, and him being the son of the Yondaime, she would forever remember the look on their faces. Revenge is sweet and all that. They both walked in silence towards the gate, each of them lost in their own thoughts, enjoying the comfortable silence while holding hands. They had no reason to hide their relationship anymore, so they weren't concerned about it. When the gate came into view, they saw that most of the genin and the senseis had gathered there with Jiraiya and the Sandaime. Hey everyone, what are you all doing here? Naruto asked. Do you think you would get to leave without saying goodbye? That's not going to happen, you know. Kiba said before clapping Naruto on the back. It's not like I'll be gone for months, guys. I'll be back before you know it. Naruto said, chuckling. On the inside, however, he was very touched that his friends came to say goodbye and wish him luck. Alright Gaki, let's get going, shall we? I want to be in the next town by this afternoon. Right behind you, Ero Sennin. See you guys later, okay? Take care of things here for me. He turned to Anko and gave her a long kiss goodbye and raced out after Jiraiya, who was waiting for him a little further. Anko smiled and yelled out that he better come back safely or that she would have to hurt him. She looked at how he disappeared into the forest and she turned to Kurenai, who was smiling at her. The rest of the genin were talking amongst them, saying that they would have to get stronger if they wanted to keep up with Naruto. Keep up with Naruto. Good luck with that, Kiba said, laughing. Every time I think that I have caught up with him, he proves me wrong. But one day I'll defeat him in a fair fight. That has been my goal ever since he defeat Momoki Zabuza in the wave. Naruto is lucky to have such good friends at his side. I'm sure that each and every one of you will become very strong. Your senseis will make sure of that. Keep working hard and there isn't a thing you can't do. Sandaime said while looking at the group of friends. The Sandaime told them that today they would work on the repairs on the south side of the village, where a huge snake had dealt severe damage to inner walls. Those walls were very important to the defenses of the village, so they had to be repaired as soon as possible. The genin nodded and dismissed themselves before getting to work. The 5 of you follow me. The Sandaime said to the Junin senseis. We have much to discuss today. He said before walking to the Hokage's tower, making them, except Anko, wonder what was going on. The rest of the morning was spent with Sandaime explaining about Akatsuki and how they would have to deal with them. Naruto and Jiraiya had been walking in silence for about an hour before Naruto broke the silence when he asked Jiraiya where they were headed to. Jiraiya had only told him to meet this morning but nothing more. He also wondered what he would be learning from the Led Sannin. He knew the man was strong. You didn't become a Sannin without being strong, but he also knew how easy the man was distracted if he saw a beautiful girl, or how much time he spent researching for his next installment of Ica Paradise. That's just the thing, Gaki. I don't know exactly where soon it is, but she was last seen in a town a few days from here, so that's where we're going. Jiraiya said while looking at Naruto. So this is a wild goose chase of some sort. Gaki, you better pray that Tsunade doesn't hear that or she'll punch your lights out. He said, laughing loudly. Don't worry, we have time, and while we're traveling we'll work on some training for you. Really? What kind of training? New ninjutsu or maybe some new taijutsu? Easy there, yeesh, you're just like your dad. Always wanting to know new jutsu or learn new things. Jiraiya said, a little sad, remembering his prized pupil. But I guess I can teach you some of my jutsu, but first I would like to know what skill you already have. So for the next few hours Naruto and Jiraiya discussed Naruto's skill level and what he needed to work on and improve. Jiraiya would also teach him some more about seals, seeing that Naruto already had a healthy interest in that particular field of study. He even offered help with figuring out the Hiraishin no Jutsu, but Naruto declined, saying that he wanted to master this jutsu on his own, and Jiraiya accepted that but told him that in case he had questions he could always help him out. Alright Gaki, there's a small town up ahead, that's where we will spend the rest of the afternoon so we can have a little spa, and we'll spend the night there as well. Spa. Great, I can't wait to see you fight. Ji-chan said that you and Orochimaru were about the same level. Orochimaru and I have always been rivals ever since our Genin days, but he was a genius while I had to work hard to master any technique. But he was obsessed by jutsu and always wanted more and more. When he betrayed the village I couldn't stop him because I still considered him my friend and rival. Jiraiya explained a little about the relationship between the two of them. What about Tsunade-sama? Tsunade. Well, she was always interested in becoming a medical nin, but that doesn't mean she can't fight. I'm sure you heard about her super strength. Jiraiya asked, making Naruto nod. Everybody knew about that. She was legendary because of it. She kicked my ass more than once, but we got along fairly well. Except about the research thing, right? Oh yeah, she hates that part of me. So how about you? Do you have a rival amongst your friends? Well, before I trained with Anko I considered Sasuke my biggest rival. He's considered a genius while I was the last, and with the Sharingan he's a very strong opponent, and he always got respected by the village just because he was a Uchiha, so for a while he was my rival. Naruto said before pausing a little. But while training with Anko I realized that Sasuke isn't the sort of rival I want. Sure, he's strong, I'll be the first to admit it, but his goal of revenge and his need for power is something that I cannot comprehend. While I understand the feelings he has for his brother, and if I had been in Sasuke's place I would want revenge too, but not in the same way. Oh, how would you do it then? I would also train to get stronger, that's for sure, but I wouldn't focus on killing him. I would focus on surpassing him, and if I ever encountered him again, then and only then would I fight him. Sakura told me that Sasuke wants to revive the Uchiha clan, but every time a girl approaches him he tells them to get lost. Every time someone wants to get to know him and be his friends he just sneers at them and leaves. Naruto said while thinking. While I understand what you're saying, Naruto, I also understand Sasuke a little. He's focused on killing his brother so much that he doesn't want to be distracted by anything. Is it a wrong way of doing things? Maybe, but that's for him to decide. Jiraiya said. But that's just it. If he would open up a little and lose that air of arrogance he gained from being pampered by the village, he would have friends who would help him get stronger, or maybe even help him defeat Itachi. But he just wants everything thrown in his lap because he's an Uchiha. He considers the rest of us inferior and weak. Naruto said, slightly angry at how Sasuke used to treat him and the others in the academy. Naruto, you can't make everybody your friend. It's great that you want to, but that's just impossible. I'm sorry to tell you that I see a lot of resemblance between Sasuke and Orochimaru, and I hope he doesn't follow in Orochimaru's footsteps. We can only hope, but I want to believe that Sasuke won't be that stupid. After that they didn't talk until they reached the village, each thinking about the previous discussion. After securing a hotel room for the night, Jiraiya and Naruto took for the woods just outside the village to have a spa. While Jiraiya was handing Naruto's ass to him, the Sandaime Hokage was in his office with the rest of the Junin sensei to discuss the coming threat known as Akatsuki. They would have to be ready to deal with such an organization, which would prove to be very difficult, seeing that every member were reputed to be S-class shinobi in the bingo book. Alright, Jiraiya alerted me of a danger that all of you should be aware of, Sandaime said before he started to explain about Akatsuki and who they were after. The explanation took about half an hour, and to say that the Junin senseis were worried was an understatement. Not many of them would be able to defeat a S-class shinobi without help, and the fact that Uchiha Itachi was part of them worried him even more. Itachi was a genius shinobi, virtually undefeatable during his time in Konoha. Who knows how strong he has become. I see that this news troubles most of you, and with good reasons. Akatsuki is a threat not only to Konoha but to the whole shinobi world, and that's why we must prepare ourselves, Sandaime said while resting his chin on his hands. I will now issue your orders, so listen carefully. Any information about Akatsuki is now a S-class secret, so keep that in mind. You're to train you students to become as strong as possible so that they can help fight. Hokage-sama, forgive me my interruption, but do you believe that our students can become strong enough to fight a S-class shinobi and come out alive? Asuma said. Asuma, there's no doubt in my mind that your genins will become some of the strongest shinobi Konoha has ever produced. You all did a marvelous job so far, just keep on doing what you did and then some more. Yosh, the youthfullness of our genin will burn brightly thanks to our help, Guy exclaimed, making the others wince from the sheer volume of his voice. Yes, that too, Guy. The new generation is strong, they proved that during the attacks, and with Naruto's help they will become strong, Sandaime said while glaring at Guy. You sure believe a lot in Naruto, don't you, Hokage-sama? Kakashi said, not even looking up from his orange book. Naruto is the one who will become the greatest Hokage of all times, Kakashi, I can see it when I look at him. Like his father before him, he will become the pillar that supports and protects this village, Sandaime said while looking at the mountain which held the faces of the previous Hokages. How did the village react to the revelation about Naruto's parents? Kurenai asked Anko. Pretty good, I suppose. There are still a lot of people who see him as the Kyuubi, but he also gained a lot of respect for his actions during and after the attack. He still has a lot of work ahead of him if he wants the whole village to see him as Naruto, but he's getting there, Anko said proudly. The Junin nodded. They had seen just how much Naruto and his clones had worked during the week after the attack. He had taken care of most of the small work, helping repairing the homes of the villages that had been damaged. He certainly helped the repairs ahead of schedule thanks to his clones freeing others so that they could help on more urgent repairs. Okay, let's get back on track here. Like I said, I want each one of you to train your genins beyond their limits. If they ask why they need such training, tell them that they'll be part of a special group to protect Konoha. Dismissed, Sandaime said before everyone left his office. He sighed, visible exhausted from all the hard work he had been doing the past weeks. He really hoped Naruto would be able to convince Tsunade into becoming Hokage. The Junin senseis just left the Hokage Tower and each went their own way, thinking about how they would train their students to deal with such a threat. This would take lots of energy from both sides, and they would have to come up with a whole new training schedule as well. Anko and Kurenai, however, were happily talking about their students and already discussing what kind of training they would give them. Alright, when Naruto's back, I'll ask him if he can put the gravity seal on Kiba, Shino and Hinata. That will allow him to get stronger and faster on top of the normal training. Anko was musing out loud. Wait, what gravity seal? I know nothing about Naruto wearing such a seal. Kurenai asked, shocked. Oh, that's right. Well, you see, in the Yondaime's book there's a seal that changes the gravity on your body. Naruto put it on during his training, but I told him that he only could release it when it's a matter of life and death, she said, grinning. Oops, totally forgot about that one. Wonder if Naruto remembers that he put on that particular seal. Kurenai stared at Anko and wondered just how strong Naruto would be without it. That boy was full of surprises, but she knew that already, she thought. It was decided that they would start the new training regime as soon as possible. Of course, they would have to wait until the genin were finished with their mission to help rebuild the village. That would take about another week, so now was the time to come up with a schedule. Anko was already smiling while thinking about all the different ways she could come up with to help them train. This would be so much fun, she thought. In the meanwhile, Naruto was getting his butt kicked by Jiraiya during their spar. It became painfully obvious how lucky he had been to be alive after fighting Orochimaru. Had he not been so tired and out of chakra by the time he started the fight, he would be S now. The difference between a Chunin and a Sannin was unbelievable, and he became aware that he still had much to learn if he wanted to survive a fight between himself and a member of Akatsuki. That's enough for today, Gaki. You did well, but you still need more experience and training. Jiraiya said, honestly impressed with Naruto. Man, I couldn't even hit you once. Naruto, believe me when I say that you did well. Much better than expected actually. Jiraiya said, placing a hand on Naruto's shoulder. But nothing, Naruto. You can't expect to become Sannin level in such a short time. Don't worry, you'll get there eventually. Jiraiya said, guiding him back to the hotel for a good night rest. Naruto cursed himself for thinking the way he did right now. He wasn't supposed to be disappointed, but he couldn't help himself. After fighting Orochimaru, he thought he was strong enough to at least hit Jiraiya once, but he had been proven wrong. For the first time, he truly saw the difference between himself and someone of Sannin level, and to be honest, it frightened him a little. He even started to doubt himself, wondering if he would ever reach that kind of level. He knew he would have to train harder if he wanted to have a chance against Akatsuki, and somewhere along the line he started to get impatient to get stronger. He should have realized that strength and power didn't come easy and that it took time. Instead of getting impatient, he would have to continue training just like he always did and believe in himself. He stood up a little straighter and followed Jiraiya with newfound courage and enthusiasm. For the next few days, Naruto and Jiraiya traveled from village to village, and while Jiraiya was gathering information about Tsunade and her whereabouts, Naruto kept on training and stews. Jiraiya had made a cage bunshin and ordered Naruto to fight it. However, each day Naruto would get a handicap, like being forbidden to use his sword or using ninjutsu. The purpose of this training was that Naruto needed to get used to fighting at a disadvantage against stronger opponents. Naruto, however, loved the challenge and threw himself into this new training while his clones were working on something else like chakra control exercises or studying new seals that Jiraiya gave him. He had been pleasantly surprised with Ero Sennin's training. At first he feared that the L would neglect his training to do research, but it seemed that Jiraiya had taken a liking to him and was serious about training him. Oi, Gaki, that's enough for today. Naruto heard Jiraiya yell. Unfortunately, this caused him to be distracted and he ended up getting hit by the clone's punch. That'll teach you not to get distracted. Jiraiya laughed. Very funny, Ero Sennin. Glad to see that my pain is making you laugh. Naruto said, rubbing his hurting jaw. Whatever, Gaki, I have good news. You found Tsunade. Nope, but somebody said he saw her in a town a few days from here, so that's where we'll go. Jiraiya said calmly. We'll leave in the morning. Why not leave right now? Because I don't want to travel at night, and because there's a festival tonight and I want to go. Jiraiya said, folding his arm in front of his chest. What's so special about the festival? Gaki, think for a moment, will you? A festival is a great opportunity for research. Jiraiya said with a lecherous grin on his face. All those beauties in kimonos having fun and drinking. A chance in a lifetime. I can't believe you, Ero Sennin. You want to go to the festival just to meet girls. Shut up, Gaki. Just because you're too stupid to enjoy the miracle that is a woman doesn't mean I am. Jiraiya yelled at Naruto. Oh yeah? Maybe you didn't notice, but one of the hottest kunoichi of Konoha is my girlfriend, you stupid lecher. Naruto fired back. Don't remind me. I'll never understand how someone like you can get such a looker to be your girlfriend. Ha, it's because unlike you I'm not AL. Naruto said, smirking. After arguing for another half hour, both of them left the training area and went to the hotel they were currently staying. Naruto wouldn't admit it to the man's face, but the idea of going to a festival wasn't so bad at all. He liked going to festivals in Konoha, but rarely got the chance until after he met up with Anko and Team 8. After a quick shower, he changed into a simple outfit consisting of a dark blue pants and a dark red shirt. He also strapped on his holster and his sword, cause it wouldn't do to be caught off guard while enjoying the festival. Jiraiya had already left, shouting that if he didn't leave now he would miss out on some beautiful girls. When Naruto reached the festival grounds, he quickly started exploring the place. He passed several small wooden stands who sold candy or other food, which make him drool at smelling all those delicious things. Realizing he didn't have lunch yet, he bought some okonomiyaki before sitting down enjoying the atmosphere. The grounds were filled with people who laughed while drinking and eating or people who tried out the different games. A lot of children were running around having fun and playing, making Naruto smile sadly when he remembered his own childhood. Unlike these kids, Naruto wasn't allowed to play with the other children by most parents, so he had to play by himself. Shaking his head clear of those memories, he looked at the children playing with their siblings and parents, hoping that one day he would have his own child to spoil and play with. After finishing his lunch, he continued his exploration of the festival and come upon a small stand which sold jewelry for women. Thinking about Anko, maybe he could buy her something. He knew she wasn't the type of girl who liked earrings, so he skipped those, but he didn't find anything that would fit with Anko. She wasn't very interested in jewelry to begin with, so he would have to find something else to buy her. Walking around the corner, he came onto the children's part of the festival where lots of games could be played and where you could win prizes. Naruto, who never got the chance when he was younger, decided to look around a bit and maybe even try out some of the games. He didn't care that he was older than most kids here, he just wanted to feel like a regular kid for once. After 5 minutes of browsing through the stands, he heard a young girl cry and saw her sitting on one of the stone stairs next to a stand. "Hey there, what's wrong?" Naruto asked gently. "I wanted Sniff to win. Sniff a teddy. Sniff, I wasn't good enough," the young girl cried out. Naruto's heart almost broke at seeing the young girl cry. She was just so cute, wearing a kimono and a flower in her hair. "Oh, don't cry, I'm Naruto. What's your name?" "My name is Akiko," the girl said while wiping the tears of her cheeks. "Well, Akiko-chan, would you like it if I won a teddy for you?" he said, smiling at Akiko, making the girl nod her head with a huge smile on her face. Naruto took her to a stand where you had to throw some darts at the target. The more points you got, the bigger the prize you could win. Of course, for a shinobi these kind of games were just too easy, and normally he wouldn't s off the owner of the stand like that, but the thought of the girl crying just made him do it. He was careful not to be too good at throwing the darts so that the owner didn't get suspicious of him. "Congratulations, young man, you won 78 points, so you get to choose out of all these prizes," the man said while showing which prizes he could choose. Of course, Naruto let his new friend choose, and she chose the biggest and cutest teddy of them all. It was a giant fluffy dog easily bigger than herself, which made Naruto chuckle at the sight. She hugged the teddy tightly before thanking Naruto for the great present. "You're welcome, Akiko-chan. Now why don't you go show you mommy and daddy your new teddy?" "Okay, bye Naruto Nikken." After roaming around a bit more, Naruto made his way back to the hotel, wondering how Erosenin had spent his evening, even though he already had a good idea. It probably involved some research, like he liked to call it. Naruto shook his head, amazed at how Jiraiya sometimes acted. No wonder the man didn't have a girlfriend or a wife, he liked spying on young women too much to settle down. He recalled how much the man spied on the girls having fun in the river while Naruto practiced the Kuchio's no Jutsu. He also smiled at the memory of Jiraiya getting his ass kicked by the women on which he spied on when they first met. That memory always made him smile. Entering the room, he saw that Jiraiya was nowhere in sight, so he took a relaxing shower and went to bed, knowing that tomorrow they would leave for the next town. The next morning, Naruto woke up before dawn and saw that Jiraiya had made it back during the night, so he slowly sneaked towards the unsuspecting Jiraiya. He didn't have to sneak since Jiraiya was out like a light, reeking of alcohol, making Naruto pinch his nose. After filling a bucket with ice-cold water, he stood next to the Sannin and quickly did some hand seals before whispering, "Suten, Suiruden no Jutsu," and splashed Jiraiya. Of course, Naruto had powered down the jutsu enough to only a very small dragon, but it was enough to wake up Jiraiya, who spluttered and yelled thinking he was drowning. Seeing the man's reaction, Naruto couldn't help himself and started laughing his head off. It had been too long since he played a prank, and who better to prank than the old L. What's going on?" Jiraiya stammered after realizing he wasn't drowning. "Wake up, Erosenin, it's time to leave," Naruto said after he got his laughing under control. "Think this is funny, Gaki? I swear kids have no respect for their elders these days," Jiraiya yelled, making him hold his head in pain from the hangover. "Don't blame me, you needed a shower anyway," Naruto said innocently. "You smelled like you bathed in alcohol. You're just jealous that I hooked up with several young women last night." Jiraiya pouted. "Yeah, right," Naruto snorted. "And how much money did you lose on them?" Jiraiya was about to answer when he realized that he did spend a lot of money last night, so he wisely kept quiet, not wanting to give Naruto the satisfaction of being right. Again, he grumbled something about being misunderstood and disrespect for elders before he got up and got ready to leave. After paying for their stay, they left for the town where soon it had been sighted. They would run to the town, not wanting to waste time. In Konoha, only a handful people were already up and running, even if the sun had yet to fully rise. On training ground 17, Kiba, Hinata and Shino were busy running the daily laps before the training truly started. The three of them had been informed by Anko and Kurenai that their training would be pushed to a whole new level and that they better be able to keep up, otherwise there would be dire consequences for all of them. When the genin asked why their training was intensified, Kurenai told them that they were now part of a group that would have to protect Konoha from future threats. That of course raised more questions, but Kurenai told them that they would be informed when Naruto was back from his mission. The genin were training in speed and strength training, and each had to continue developing their own skills. After the warming up exercises, they had to spar against each other and their senseis before they were allowed to work on their own, while Anko and Kurenai provided assistance and help. In the afternoon, they could either train with their friends or family to learn new techniques. Team 10 was doing much of the same training, but they were also trained by their parents so that they could learn more of the advanced techniques of their clan. Ino, Shikamaru and Chuji had been told that they were now strong enough to learn some of them, and they were eager to start training. Even Ino had surprised them by fully dedicating herself into improving herself. She and Sakura had been training with Hinata for over a month now, and the changes were visible even if they still had a lot of catching up to do. Speaking of Sakura, she had practically begged Kakashi to help her get stronger and even promised him to stop fussing over Sasuke all the time. Seeing that Sakura was serious, Kakashi had spent several days with her, coming up with a training schedule she could follow, and to his surprise Sakura followed it to the smallest detail. Kakashi had been a bit disappointed when the third member of his team had quit being a shinobi after the Chunin exams. The boy had never been fit to become a shinobi, and Kakashi was somewhat glad that he realized it before he got himself ked. Last he heard, the boy was now going to a regular school trying to catch up with his fellow students. This left him with an incomplete team made up from Sakura, Sasuke and himself, making them unable to do missions outside of the normal D-rank missions and team training. Sasuke had complained loudly until the Hokage had put him in his place, threatening to send him back to the academy if he didn't stop his childish behavior. Kakashi had been observing Sasuke for a while and didn't like what he was seeing. He always knew that Sasuke was driven by revenge, but lately things had been getting out of hand. Sasuke all but demanded to be taught jutsu so he could get stronger, and no matter what Kakashi said, he didn't seem to understand that power was something that took time to gain by training. Kakashi had been trying to get Sasuke to work together with his team, but nothing seemed to work. Of course, the fact that Sasuke had been much stronger than his teammates didn't help either, but instead of helping them, Sasuke just ignored them, only widening the gap. Today he would have another talk with the boy, hoping that he could get the boy to understand what it meant to be a Konoha shinobi. Right now, however, he was on his way to meet with the other Junin sensei so that they could discuss some group training between the three teams. Asuma had said that all of them would benefit from learning to work together as one group, and he had to agree with that line of thinking. Arriving at the small dango shop, he saw that the other were already there and make his way over to them. Passing a few tables, he noticed a pair of travelers with hats and black cloaks with red clouds on it, but he didn't make any sign of distress or recognition. Finally, Kakashi, I swear you would be late for your own funeral. Anko said, slightly mad at the one-eyed shinobi. Calm down, Anko, you know there's no helping it. Let's just sit down and enjoy lunch. Asuma said, showing that he too had seen the two suspicious men and he didn't want to talk about anything remotely connected to his students or training. They spend their lunch in good laughter while keeping an eye on the men, but halfway through lunch Sasuke showed up wanting to talk to Kakashi. Here you are, I looked everywhere for you, Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke said, showing at least some respect. He knew better than to piss of any superior shinobi, especially one who could teach him many techniques. Ah, Sasuke, what's the matter? I want to train with you, I need to get stronger. Making Kakashi sigh at his answer. Sasuke, I told you a dozen times before that you can't get stronger just by knowing more jutsu. Kakashi said calmly, but from the corner of his eye he saw the two men getting up and leave. So help me train instead of lecturing me like you always do. Sasuke said, losing his temper. Don't these idiots realize that I need to get stronger so that I can K that man? He thought. Fine, meet me later on at the training field, Kakashi said before getting up. The other Junin sensei got up as well, knowing that Kakashi wanted to investigate those travelers. Kakashi and the rest left in the direction the two men had left and quickly reached a relatively remote place in Konoha where not many people came. He looked in front of him and saw the two men standing there as if they were waiting for him. The four of them slowly approached them, not wanting to provoke them unnecessary. Hatake Kakashi, Mitarashi Anko, Yuhi Kurenai and Sarutobi Asuma. It has been a while, hasn't it? The smallest of the two said while taking off his hat, revealing a handsome young man with black hair tied in a small ponytail. Uchiha Itachi, why are you here? Come to finish the job you started all those years ago? Kakashi asked. And who is your friend? Finish the job. I have no interest in that foolish little brother of mine. As to who I am, my name is Hoshigaki Kisame. The man next to Itachi said. When his face became visible, they saw a shark-like man with a blue face. If not for Sasuke, then why are you here? Asuma asked. We are here for the Yondaim's legacy. It's in our organization benefit that we retrieve him. Itachi said. You're after Naruto. I suppose that organization is called Akatsuki. Kakashi said, shocking both Itachi and Kisame. I see you have been warned about us. I wonder how you gathered that kind of information. Itachi asked them, not really expecting an answer. What's the purpose of your organization? Why are you after Naruto? Anko asked. She had been quiet till now, but she wanted to know why they were after her boyfriend. Suddenly a voice sounded through the clearing, yelling out. Itachi. The group turned and saw an enraged Sasuke standing there staring at Itachi with clear hate in his eyes. Before anyone could stop him, he charged at Itachi, making hand seals and produced a Chidori aiming straight at Itachi's heart. Sasuke, you don't stand a chance against an opponent like him. Kakashi yelled, trying to stop his student from getting ked. Sasuke didn't listen, however, and tried to Itachi through the heart, but to his shock his brother just grabbed him by the wrist and twisted it, making Sasuke fall to his knees, the Chidori slowly disappearing. Itachi looked at his brother before slowly shaking his head and twisted Sasuke's wrist further, effectively breaking it, making him scream out in pain. The Junin sensei were about to help Sasuke, but Kisame placed himself in between them and hindered them from helping Sasuke. My foolish little brother, do you know why you're still so weak? It's because you don't have enough hate. Maybe this will help you into getting stronger. Itachi said before locking eyes with Sasuke. Slowly his Sharingan changed into something different pattern, and the moment Sasuke looked at it he started screaming and collapsed not a second later. Let's go, Kisame, we didn't come here to fight. The Junin sensei rushed to Sasuke's side, checking him over, trying to wake him up, but nothing they tried seemed to help. Aside from his broken wrist, he seemed psychically fine, but they guessed that Itachi's attack was a mental attack, making it impossible for them to help him. They took him to the hospital before going to report to the Hokage, knowing that he would be very interested in what happened. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.